Okay, everybody, we're going to do this one more time. I did shoot the video and I had everything lined up, was putting everything in order so I could put the Schmancy on it. And as I was going through the video, I realized that half of the project I was working on was not in the frame. And this was through most of the video. So I had to go into recovery because the video was like over 30 minutes long and I had completed everything. Anyway, it's about 5 days later, and so we're going to do it right here, right now, and it'll be a one and done. So also the color that I used was dark. It's a beautiful navy color, but you couldn't see the pattern. And so I said, okay, we'll trash it all and start over. Now I have time. Now I have better lighting, and here we go. So in this video, we're going to work on the crisscross pattern, and it is literally crisscross. And hopefully my instructions in this one will be much better than my instructions in the other video. Again, I am using Bernat Alize Blanket Easy. It's their bigger skein. All right. It is 180 grams, a total of 18 yards. You don't need needles. You don't need hooks. All hands. And as you can see, you can wash it in warm, no iron, no bleach, no iron, no dry clean, but you can put this in the dryer. Me personally, I do machine wash, but I do like to line dry. This is the color is Orange Crush, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's a vibrant color. It is soft. So you can get it from yarnspirations.com, or what I do, I go to Joann's. I believe it is Hobby Lobby that sells loop yarn, but their brand is Honeybee, I believe. So, and they do have a lot of colors, and also Amazon. And if you want, you can order from Walmart, but you will have to have it sent to you rather than you go get it from the store, because Walmart does not sell loop yarn at the stores. All right, so what you will need, what I don't have, you can tell I'm just ready to get this over with. Okay, go ahead and open it up. All right, find the beginning. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to make a full blanket or scarf or anything. I'll make something small so you can get the gist of what the pattern looks like, how to do it, and if you like it or not. I will put a border on here. I'll show you how to do the border, a border rather, and we will see what that looks like. I like to use 2 columns for border for the sides. One border for the bottom and for the top. And what it does is it kind of embeds the pattern, and you can see the border and you can see the pattern within the border. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to pull out, let's pull out about 12 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So what I like to do, and again, in my other video, I believe I did state that some people like to work with the loops facing away from them. Okay, if you do that, that's how you like to do. Then your feed line, put it in front of you. All right, So then you can match up your loops, loop for loop. So it would essentially go, hopefully I didn't lose my place, like this. It would look something like that. Okay, but then I did see someone flip this over, and they worked taking the project going away from them. In that case, like this, and then you can feed it in. All right, I like to work this way. That's actually how I learned to do it. So it's just habit with me. I could actually do it either way, but working with my feed line here is just a habit. So, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what we're going to do, this is going to be our base row. We're going to feed in from the back. And make sure when you feed in from the back, pull up and down. And there, you're already training your loops to go in uniform fashion. Right? The back, pull up, and lay down. Feed in from the back. I will put titles, subtitles down at the bottom. Sometimes reading the subtitles helps to understand. And then I have a few deaf friends, so I'll be sending the video out to them as well. I'd like to get to where I could do the inset, someone signing, but I'm not that advanced in video. All right, feeding from the back. Here we go. All right, so let's count to make sure we didn't miss any loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Excellent. All right, so remember, in this video, we're going to have 2 columns here for border, 2 columns here for border, 1 down here at the bottom. This will be just your simple base row right here. All right, so we're going to feed in from the back, just a regular knit stitch. Now, here comes the cross. The direction that you are going in, okay, the loop that goes on, because they're going to crisscross, okay, the direction that you're going in, the loop that will bend in that direction needs to go on top. All right, the direction that you are going in, the loop that will bend in that direction needs to go on top. For instance, we have 2 loops here. So in order to do a crisscross, 1 loop needs to go this way, 1 loop needs to go this way. So the loop that, and I am going from left to right, the loop that will bend toward the right, that loop needs to be on top. So I'll take my second loop and feed it into the next feed loop, or feed the next feed loop into this loop. And pull it toward the left. This loop here is the one that's going to the left, to the right. This will be on top. It'll be match up like so. Okay? So then there is your crisscross right here. Do it again. 2 loops. This loop here will go to the left. So it needs to be on the bottom, so it needs to be fed through first. This loop here, it's going to the right, so it will end up on top. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I learned this in 2 days. I'm not going to tell you it took me 4 days. It took a lot of repetition for me to understand exactly how this pattern works. So if it takes you a little trial and error, that's just how it is. Be patient with yourself, and until you understand just exactly how these patterns go, make it make sense to you. And other people are doing the same thing on YouTube. So catch a few other videos. Maybe they will explain it better than me. Maybe they would go slower than me so you can see the technique. But if this is something that hand knitting that you find enjoyable and therapeutic and you really enjoy, but you want to add to what you got, then do that. Okay, so one more time. Our 2 loops, our feed line, the second loop on the bottom, lean toward the left. The first loop leans to the right on top. Second loop gets fed first. I say fed, but this loop, first loop, and so on. Keep up with where you are, so you'll know when you get to the last 2, those are your borders. Regular knit stitch. Feed from the back. Feed from the back. All right, so here we go. Let's make sure we didn't miss any loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Excellent. All right. So now we're going to go from right to left. From right to left. And when we get to our crisscross, they're going to go opposite. So what's going to happen is, the loop that is going in a direction in which you are going, that's the loop that ends up on top. All right, we start out with our border. There. There. Okay. Once we get, I'm going to do about 10 rows. And once we get up, then you will begin to see all of this. All right, so we have our 2 loops. This loop, it's going to go to the right. It's going to go on the bottom. So, and this one, it's going to the left, the direction that we're going in, it goes on the top. Same thing here. This loop here, this loop is going to the right. It gets fed first. This loop, it's going in the direction we're going in. So it gets fed next. Let's go on to the end of the row. And I believe you will begin to see the crisscross. Now, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video. Go back. If you know me, stop me. When you see me, there we go. All right, so now you can see, and as we go, this zigzag pattern will develop in the project. Let's keep going. All right, we're at our border. Get some feed here. All right, the first 2 and the last 2 loops serve as our border. So here we go. We're going left to right. And so here, this loop is going to go to the left. It will be on the bottom. And this loop will be on top. One more time. Here we go. Now you can see it. All right. This color turned out better than the other color that I did. It's a very beautiful navy blue color. And in the yarn itself, it changes to like a turquoise color. And they blend. And I figured, well, that would be a good color combo to use. And when I went back and watched the video, the yarn, the navy yarn, was so dark that you couldn't see the zigzag. So in this, you can see it. All right, keep up with where you are. We're at our border now. Here and here. All right, and from time to time, and I mean, unless you can count and talk at the same time, which I cannot, go back and count your loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because if you're not careful, especially with this zigzag, and I have had issues with it, you flip it over and then you'll find a little loop just sitting there like, hey, y'all left me out. So from time to time, as you're working through and you find out, I'm supposed to have 2 here and 2 here. Why do I have 2 for my border and then I only have 1 for my border? That means somewhere in here, a loop was left out. And so you have to go find it. And unfortunately, if you find it and you're at row 25 and it was at row 12, the best thing I can tell you is just go ahead and stop, pull it apart, or what they call frog it, because you're ripping out the pattern. You're ripping out the yarn from the project. Rib it. So you're frogging it. Go ahead and do that and go on. The best thing about situations like that is that it will discipline you and it will teach you to keep track of your loops, keep track of the rows where you are. I like to put, which I did not show at the beginning of this video, but I'll put it in, but where you are on your rows, and just simply to concentrate on what you're doing, which is part of the therapy of it all. It takes your mind off of bills, troubles, whatever have you. It's been a busy week. It's been a crazy week. And it allows you to put your mind someplace else and be creative by your own hands, you know? And it allows you to think about something else. And then once you're done with your project, you can thankfully say, I did this. Don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about, I didn't do it just like they did in the video. No, this is your creativity. This is your style. This is, the tension that you put into it, which it does speak. If you have a lot of tension in maybe you're tense. One of the reasons why you keep missing loops is because you can't concentrate. So sit back, relax, get the colors you want, and enjoy. If it takes you 4 hours, it took you 4 hours. Don't worry about that. If it took you 30 minutes, it took you 30 minutes. Start on another one if you have the time. But when you hand crochet, for those who cook, it's just like putting love into your cooking. Put your love into every craft you do, and allow that to be an expression of you. Okay? Let's finish this. All right. what were we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 5 more to go. And we will get through this. And again, we're going right to left. So the loop that is going in the direction that we go in goes on top. The loop going in the opposite direction goes on the bottom. The one that goes on the bottom gets fed first. All right. So if you want this to be a blanket, if you want to do this as a scarf, a placemat, a pot holder, which these do work well as pot holders, but do beware. As you can see, it has holes. So I would actually use it maybe as a placemat, or maybe you would sit your hot pots on so you don't scar your tables. But not so much as to pick something up that is hot. Now with the knit stitch, I would gamble, yeah. I'd give it a go. But not with the crisscross stitch because of the holes. All right. We are on row 6. Go ahead and get done with this. I will put the tools that you need at the beginning of the video, so you'll know. And it's really a pair of scissors, your yarn, and stitch markers. And now, why stitch markers? Number one, if you're working on a scarf, if you're working on a blanket, and what I do is every 5th or 10th, 5, 10, 15, 20, I put a stitch marker there. So then I just count the stitch marker, 5, 10, 15, 20. That way it'll help me keep track of what row I'm on. Okay. Oh yes, and the warning about the twisted, try to keep them straight, because when you twist them, it shortens the loop and it'll add tension. So say this entire row and all these loops twisted, this will draw in, it'll draw it in. And it's like, how come this won't? It's because your loops were twisted. All right, let's go back and count. Make sure we didn't leave anyone out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good deal. Now, in the other video, I don't know where this notion came from, but it struck me like wow. To do the crisscross, but instead of feeding in from the back, what if I fed them in through the front? And in that video, I said that I would give it a go and then post it. But I got to thinking about it, and this is what will happen. This is what it'll look like. And you can still see some of it. And I think part of the reason why it looks so smushed is because, so I think I would look a little pancake too. But I think this is what you would end up with. It's like a pearl stitch is essentially is what it is. It's a crisscross pearl stitch. And that's where the little knots end up on this side, on the face side, rather than on the back side. And it gives it a nice pattern, a nice look. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, this will be our last one. All right, so what we're gonna do now, I need to cast off. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cast off. Now, what I've done, and I love this, I do, it's just bees knees. I made up little kits, and this particular little box, I got it from Walmart, I do believe. Actually, I think I got both of them from Walmart. And all they are just really sewing essentials. Pair of scissors. This pair of scissors I got at a craft store in Fort Worth, right outside of downtown Fort Worth. And they have all kinds of neato things. I love it. They're rose gold, they're stork, and I love them. I have measuring tape, stitch marker, row counter, and I have a bobbin of thread. And in this little box, I have pins, stitch markers, needles, and a threader. The little box I actually got from Joanne when I ordered some safety pins. A lot of safety pins came in here. And so it was perfect for my little box. And so I kept it. Now, also, I do suggest, actually strongly suggest, that when you do buy scissors to get this type, and again, these I ordered from Walmart in a set of different colors. And in this one, I also have a thimble. So they go with me just about everywhere I go. So let's go ahead and cast off. This is my assistant. Yes, I guess she's ready to go outside now. I tried to put her out before the video started, but it was a no-go. All right, you can cast off several ways, but and what I try to remember is to cast off where I can feed my line into. So we're going to do one more row so that when I end it and I snip the loops apart, you know, when I cut it off, I can feed the line down through the side. All right, so, and that's one thing I have to keep in mind, that I don't till I get to the end. One of my fallacies, sorry. And again, perfection, who's gonna know that you were supposed to do it in 10 rows and you actually did 11? Nobody. No one but you and God. So, and he's not gonna fault you for it, so don't you fault you for it. And again, as you're learning this, one thing I am going to say is, you look at it and it's like, doesn't look like, don't do that. Remember, this is yours. You're learning, and as time goes by and you pick up your own creativity, it's going to be one of the best things you've ever gotten into. Okay, snip it, cut it here. All right, so when you cast off, you can start here, take the next loop, feed it inside, like so. Take the next loop, and feed it inside. The next loop, and feed it inside. And you see how it makes a chain. All right, so all right, now this is why I say cast off with the little leg here and there, and then you just feed it on through on the side, and just feed it on through and feed it through to the back at the end. Voila, and you're done. You are done. The zigzag, the crisscross pattern. And the beauty in this pattern is that you can have it going into and go up your project, and which I did do that. I believe it was in a scarf, and it was nice. And I've seen other people do it in blankets, and it is a beautiful thing to behold once the project is done. So thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you watching to the end, and remember, you can rise above any obstacle with the right mindset. Thank you, everybody. Bye.